Hello, human family. I'm Jocelyn, and I am grateful you're here. Welcome to the Starting with Gratitude podcast. This is a safe space intended to host heart-centered conversations exploring all topics of the human and spiritual experience. Every conversation starts with gratitude and remains rooted in gratitude. After you listen, make sure to join the community by subscribing and sharing. I am so happy you have joined us. I am updating this trailer exactly 1 year after this podcast was announced, and my heart is so full. Reflecting back on all the gratitude that has been cultivated.
First and foremost, I'm grateful to be alive.
I'm grateful for my generous and brilliant friends.
I'm grateful for things that I once took for granted.
I'm grateful for the purity of authentic love.
I'm grateful for my daughter.
I'm grateful just for being able to get through this year.
I'm grateful for opportunities to express myself through art.
And very grateful for this conversation.
And the honest, meaningful conversations that have unfolded in this space from a Grammy-nominated producer on trusting your own divine unfoldment.
I want people to know that it might take time because, the world moves fast and social media is always in our face. So we always see other people getting ahead, and a lot of times we see other people getting ahead and we might feel away, but they're on a different journey. Mm-hmm. You're on your own journey. Mm-hmm. You're going to have your own blessings. So you just need to keep walking in your journey, and your big blessings will come. You can't really compare other people's lives to yours because we are different.
To a holistic chef on healing the body.
Approaching it with curiosity versus a intensity to need to do everything at once. It's really one step at a time. If you feel inspired to start a process with your healing around food and your relationship around food, I always say start with the gut, and truly start with the gut and just read about it and learn about it, because most of your serotonin is produced in your gut. Your gut affects the way your brain operates, so it shapes in some capacity your perspective on life and also yourself. So if you start there, you can start cracking into healing your perspective around literally everything in your life.
To a seasoned meditation teacher on slowing down as an act of love.
It is probably one of the greatest acts of self-love we can do, because when we slow down, we can be present to ourselves. And often we're not present to ourselves. We're operating under conditions that are really put on us by society and by culture these days. Mm-hmm. Up until maybe up until the pandemic, there was such a culture of hustle. I remember reading so much about hustle culture and grinding, and those were the words that I used to always hear in the startup scene. Mm-hmm. And part of that is still there, but I think we're now starting to realize that what are we hustling for? It doesn't actually add up, right? Mm-hmm. If we're going to get to an end point, but we're going to be sick and we're going to be stressed and anxious and on medications, and none of this is wrong. It's not an issue with that, but we can also work towards mitigating the potential of that happening as well. And slowing down is hard. I think it takes a lot of courage in a society that is asking us to speed up constantly. And that courage really has to come from the place of love.
To a successful founder on breaking unhealthy relationship patterns.
I realized this year I had this pattern of trauma bonding, or wanting to see the good in someone and them trying to see the good in me, despite us not being a match, Mm-hmm. And I think that we just gave each other one too many chances, and it became really toxic, and it put me in a lot of risk. Mm-hmm. And in the moment, it felt like I was dying. That's how hurtful this loss was to me. Mm-hmm. And that's when I decided to invest in my mental health and get into therapy and do all of this because love shouldn't feel that way, you know? And that was really hard for me. And I think that's life, you know, like there's people in your life who come and go, who are here to teach you a lesson. And I feel like this was a lesson that was that I was supposed, it was a lesson that has taken me countless of people and relationships to really learn. And I think I've learned it now.
I am truly so excited to continue watering this podcast and experiencing it grow. At a time where so many of us are returning back home to our authentic selves, committing to our healing, exploring the spiritual path, aspiring to really fulfill our soul's purpose and undergoing transformation because of it all. I know it's important that we not only hold more safe spaces for unfiltered conversations like this, but also practice gratitude. Consistently and intentionally practicing gratitude myself for years now has completely impacted the way I respond to life. Not only do I firmly believe there is always something to be grateful for, but I also firmly believe that when we grow intimate with the feeling tone of gratefulness, we are growing intimate with our true essence. We are strengthening our ability to see and feel the divine at any given moment. Before I dive into my conversations with our guests, I asked them to share with us what they currently feel grateful for. When it's a conversation between you and I also start our conversations with gratitude. So, should you choose to join this community, I'm going to encourage you to do the same before pressing play on an episode or as you listen to the expressions of gratitude shared in every episode. Take a moment to pause and ask yourself what it is you feel grateful for in that moment. Let's truly start every conversation with gratitude together. If you feel called, feel free to share your gratitude with us by calling our gratitude hotline. Episodes of Starting with Gratitude drop every Tuesday and are available on all podcast platforms as well as YouTube. I'm sincerely so grateful you aligned to this podcast and pray this space inspires, encourages, and empowers you on your journey. Whenever you enjoy an episode, please drop a rating and a review and help this community grow. Sending you love, your girl, your host, Jocelyn.